Nigeria, the largest economy in Africa, once again played host to the global market as the Middle East Investors Expo was held in Abuja, the nation's capital, on July 4th and 5th, 2024. The prestigious event brought together investors, business leaders and policymakers from across the region and beyond to explore investment opportunities, share knowledge and collaborate on projects that will drive economic growth and development. Keying into President Bola Tinubu's visionary Renewed Hope agenda. The mandate of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Nigeria is to reinforce foreign decision-making and implementation processes in Nigeria and handle the external promotion of Nigeria's domestic vision and ideals. The Director of Economic, Trade and Investment Department, Ambassador Akinremi Bolaji, let us into the ministry's expectations of the Expo and award event.
An event put together by the Africa Industrial Expo and Award Steering Committee. They contacted the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs asking that this be facilitated since we are expecting foreigners. And the minister directed that we assist them to coordinate the hosting of the event. And this is what we have done. We first studied their objective. We studied their goals and we saw that it's in line with Mr. President's vision. It's in line with our foreign policy objective. It's in line with our goals, particularly on food security, on diversification of our economy. So these are the things that made the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to partner with them in organizing this. And what we did is to send out invitation to embassies because they had already sent out invitation to participants and people are registering online. But we needed to build confidence with the missions that are based in Abuja to tell them that your citizens are coming, we are going to be doing things with your government and we need your buy-in. We also need you to project it with your government. So a lot of them will have written dispatches after the breakfast that we had with them to inform them. It was basically to share information, just to engage and to tell them that this program is coming up. Now, our expectation majorly will be that there will be concrete agreement, we will build confidence. But in this case, if there are businesses, we're just going to ensure that it doesn't violate Nigeria integrity or it does not put government in an unnecessary, uncomfortable circumstance. So we are expecting that the investors will find Nigeria a compelling environment to invest in. And the sectors that have been chosen are very clear: telecommunication, oil and gas, agriculture, aviation, and fintech. Now, of course, we're going to have speakers in other areas too, and we're expecting that the Nigerian side will be able to convince the investors that are coming from all over the world that Nigeria is a place, it's an investment destination, the best in Africa. Okay, you've heard this word that if you are not doing business in Nigeria, you are not in Africa. So, and it is not just mouthing it. We are putting everything to ensure that this becomes a reality. Mr. President himself is the #1 marketer of his government and also the policies of Nigeria. And so what we are doing in Foreign Affairs is to put teeth, is to make sure that we take up those assignment that Mr. President has released globally. So we want to see that our economy get a boost, our relations with this country get a boost, and we want to see that an average Nigerian can feel the impact in terms of creating jobs, in terms of partnership, joint venture between Nigeria businesses and those countries that are coming. So it's not just going to be talking. There's going to be expo. Some goods are being brought in. People will be able to buy. So at the end of the day, we will be able to measure after the event what has come in. Because we will take stock. There are people that are going to invest their money immediately because a lot of arrangements are going behind the scene now to talk to investors. So they are just coming to confirm. They are just coming to to reaffirm their interest in Nigeria. And we are expecting that we will get some order. Some countries are going to tell us their needs. Can you do this? Some countries are going to become off-takers. They are going to show interest. It might just be in okra, for example. It might be in any of the agricultural products or produce. And you know we have arable land all over Nigeria. So these are our expectations that this is not, a lot of money is being spent on this program, I must tell you. Some of the participants are being sponsored. So you know that the private sector, when they want to do anything, they put a lot of resources into it. You know, government might not be able to do this, but the private sector is doing all of this.
Nigeria-Belgium Luxembourg Business Forum presents a 3-day business forum with the theme Activating Viable Partnerships for Economic Growth and Sustainability. Speakers include Ms. Aisha Rimi, CEO, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, Chief Emeka Obegolu, President, Abuja Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Olufemi Ogunyemi, MD, Nigeria Export Processing Zone, NEBSA, and Dr. Dominique Vienne, CEO, Protex Healthcare, among others. The program will include a plenary session, networking lunch, B2B and B2G meetings between government officials and Nigerian companies. It will also feature company visits preceded by matchmaking. Date: Wednesday 18th to Friday 20th September 2024. Venue: Tangla Hotel, Avenue E, Mounier 5, 1200 Brussels, Belgium. For more information, visit our website www.cbl-acp.be. To register, go to https://cbl-acp.be/Nigeria-Belgium-Luxembourg-Forum-Business-Forum 2024. Join us. The EXPO can best be described as a marketplace for the Middle East and Africa, with the aim of promoting investment opportunities in key sectors, showcasing the untapped potentials of the region, and provide valuable insights for investors and stakeholders. How does Nigeria stand to benefit as the market location?
Let's be honest, without SMEs, there is no economy. And if you notice, be it in Africa or the UAE or other countries, SMEs contribute to around 95% almost of the registered businesses, which means the whole economy is dependent on them, today, tomorrow, and the day after. I totally believe that Nigeria, Africa and Nigeria in specific can benefit a lot from the great experience of the UAE while in supporting SMEs, because in the UAE there are a lot of programs that support SMEs, and these are coming from the government by giving a lot of facilities, creating incubators, creating a lot of accelerators, giving them access to funding, ease of business and everything else. So I totally believe Nigeria is very much rich in talents, it's very much rich in resources, and there is nothing that can stop Nigeria from taking the best practices from the UAE to become really a startup and SME-minded community. Nigerian businesses can start today looking into having some joint partnerships between them and the Nigerians. Again, as I said in my speech, exchanging the best practices, finding deals, be it through trade, being through scaling. Sometimes Nigerians want to scale outside of Africa. I think the UAE is the best place to start and have their stepping stone, and vice versa. UAE successful businesses, by default, if you want to go global, you have to be in Africa. And if you have to be in Africa, I don't think there's a better place than Nigeria to scale to, and then from here, they can go into all the African continent.
Actually, there is plenty of opportunities for Nigerian SMEs, Nigerian startups in Qatar. And one of it through the Invest Qatar program, which is actually providing some funds, some support to entrepreneurs and to business people all around the globe. So they have an opportunity, if they have like a great idea, a technical idea, to apply through Invest Qatar, and they can get up to $500,000 investments if they pass through the screening phase. Now, if the business is already established with some numbers, with some businesses and KPIs, and is in advanced stage, they can still apply and they can get like a fund of over or almost like $5 million. Now, there is plenty of opportunities. Now is the matter of understanding the market's needs, and it's a matter of providing like enough study of the potential of the idea itself. I can actually tell you like is similarly of saying how does these tech startups like Jumia affecting the Nigerian economy. Jumia today itself is not affecting the Nigerian economy only, but it's affecting more than 12 other African countries. So it's in the same way. If we have like a winning startup that could become hopefully a unicorn, that could have an impact not only in Nigeria and not only in Africa, but potentially we are aiming to have something even more further than this, probably in the Middle East, in America, and in Europe. So again, like the Qatar ecosystem, they are opening their hands for startups all around the globe. And they are willing to empower these startups and to help them open their headquarters and open their offices in Qatar. And recently, like in the Web Summit, there have been plenty of Nigerians that have been traveling to Qatar to represent their ideas, their companies, their startups in the Web Summit. And they've been trying to make this bond and this plug between whatever services that they have here on the ground and the opportunity available with the Qatar ecosystem.
Nigeria-Middle East business bilateral relations were established at President Bola Tinubu's visits to some Middle East countries. Can we say that this EXPO is a follow-up of Nigeria-Middle East business bilateral relations? Ambassador Akinremi Bolaji tells us more.
So, Mr. President has been in Saudi Arabia last year. March this year, he has been in Qatar. He has been in UAE. So you see, this is essentially a follow-up of Mr. President's effort. What President does is to break ground. And he has broken ground in all these places. Now he has told investors that it is easy coming, easy going out. So when you bring your investment, you are not going to have challenges to take your profit out. And nobody will doubt Nigeria as a fertile soil for investment. Several efforts that are being made, and Mr. President has instigated all of this. He is the motivation behind it. President Bola Tinubu has been the motivation behind all of this. You see, when you lead from the front, certainly your citizens will follow you. When we all saw how Mr. President is mobilizing his colleagues all over the world and is giving them assurances, he's only one man. He can't do all the work by himself. So we as officials of Ministry of Foreign Affairs have to rise up to it. And we've told a lot of private sector. We've rehashed what Mr. President said in many meetings. And they key in. For example, the Business Council that you're talking about, you're going to be seeing the president of Nigeria Saudi Business Council, Business Chamber of Commerce and Mines and all of that. You're going to be seeing all other countries also. These are private individuals who are doing their businesses in those countries. But if they were left uncoordinated, the effort will not amount to anything. So this is an effort to coordinate and ensure that all the loose ends are tidy up. Because whatever you cannot measure, you can't grow. We want to increase, we need to take assessment of what we have. We need to come together. And this is why, following up to Mr. President's effort, there will be more of this kind of meeting. Just as we are having this Nigeria Middle East Investment Expo and Award, so also, if you cast your mind back, you will know that EU also had their own, which they call Nigeria EU Business Forum. And it was the 9th edition, but it was the first in Abuja. And it's because they have seen a very dynamic president who is a businessman, a private sector minded person, and who is pushing for more businesses. So you saw a lot of EU businesses in Abuja. The same way now, the Middle East businesses are here. A lot of them are going into agriculture. Just a month ago, we have the Minister of Agriculture from Saudi Arabia. And do you know, from that encounter, we have received a list of trading items between the two countries that we have not gone into. If you know what, the alfalfa on food and feeds alone is running into billions. And these are new avenues for revenue, for wealth creation, for engagement, for job creation. So this is going to be a wonderful experience for Nigeria.
Nigeria-Belgium Luxembourg Business Forum presents a 3-day business forum with the theme Activating Viable Partnerships for Economic Growth and Sustainability. Speakers include Ms. Aisha Rimi, CEO, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC; Chief Emeka Obegolu, President, Abuja Chamber of Commerce; Dr. Olufemi Ogunyemi, MD, Nigeria Export Processing Zone, NEBSA; and Dr. Dominique Vienne, CEO, Protex Healthcare, among others. The program will include a plenary session, networking lunch, B2B and B2G meetings between government officials and Nigerian companies. It will also feature company visits preceded by matchmaking. Date: Wednesday 18th to Friday 20th September 2024. Venue: Tangla Hotel, Avenue E, Mounier 5, 1200 Brussels, Belgium. For more information, visit our website www.cbl-acp.be. To register, go to https://cbl-acp.be/Nigeria-Belgium-Luxembourg-Forum-Business-Forum 2024. Join us. The 2-day EXPO afforded investors and stakeholders the opportunity to explore and engage in fruitful deliberations as well as panel sessions.
Nigeria is a bit lacking when it comes to businesses, especially in the Middle East, and we have a lot of businesses opportunities here. So what we try to achieve, or what we're trying to achieve, is bringing in these investors and introducing them to businesses here in Nigeria so that they can liaise and, if possible, have that opportunity to do businesses. So we are just trying to create a platform whereby it's not just you going there always. They also get to come in and see these businesses physically, have B2B meetings, have that avenue to liaise and make business possible. I think I really want a situation whereby Nigerian businesses can grow outside Nigeria, and I'm really looking forward to that.
A keynote speech on driving sustainable development through innovative financing was delivered by Dr. Mary Zaki, Managing Director, Gulf Capital from the United Arab Emirates.
To put this into perspective, over the last 20 years, we've had $35 billion of capital coming into Africa. $35 billion coming into venture, startups, private equity, infrastructure, all these private funds. $35 billion, that sounds like a huge number. And actually peaked in 2022 at 7.7 billion for that year. Where's that number going? Why are we not seeing people come back in? And by the way, after 7.7 billion, it came down to 1. Let me tell you what the biggest problem is. The biggest problem is, out of the $35 billion that's been invested over the last 20 years in Africa, less than 20% has been returned to investors. Let me compare that versus 70 and 170%. 70% return on capital to investors in Europe, 170% return of capital to investors in the US. 20%. If I come to you and I say, please invest in this fantastic opportunity, and the moment you invest, you're like, okay, great, so when am I going to get the money back? 25 years, 30 years, would you invest? No, right? You wouldn't. You wouldn't. So why are we, as Africans, expecting that foreign countries and foreign, investors come into Africa and invest when the record has been an abysmal number of return of capital to investors? That's one big problem that we need to solve. Second problem that we need to solve: exits. because of this first one. Why has there been very, very few exits? When companies are invested into, people can't exit. Well, let's address global benchmarking. There are 3 ways of exiting the world today. 1, to sell into global stock markets. 2, to sell to strategic investors. And 3, to sell to financial investors, right? Well, the third one is the easiest. If there are no financial investors anyways, I can't really sell to them. So that's a third of the exit routes out of the way. If my exit scenarios of businesses are to strategics, let me ask strategics, what are they looking for? They're looking for monetary growth that is transparent, right? That continues to scale. So, okay, beginning with the exit in mind, let me backtrack. What are the largest industries? Your Excellency, you touched upon the largest industry on the African continent, which is actually not oil and gas, it's actually food and beverage on the continent. Oil and gas is exported, right? Thank you for that, because unfortunately that specific industry, which I'm very passionate about, gets 3% of Global South funding. It's an $18.5 trillion industry globally, right? So beginning with the exit in mind, I encourage everyone to focus on a real problem that requires solving. And not just a real problem that requires solving for 5 people, but one that is scalable for 500 people, for 5 billion people, right? Start locally, as one of my fellow speakers yesterday spoke about, and then expand beyond that. Beachhead markets first. Second, don't try to boil the ocean, right? It's very difficult to boil the ocean. You can boil a kettle. I'm not advertising for kettle, I don't know what you call that, boiler, right? Start with that. So basically, start by solving 2-3 problems. If you have massive regulatory hurdles, guess what? You're going to fail. Chances are you're going to fail much higher. So don't. Start with solving smaller problems. 2-3 hurdles, obstacles at a time.
Join us for the concluding part in next week's episode as we bring to you opening remarks of the chairman, African Industrial and Development Conference and Awards, His Excellency Ambassador Usman Sariki, keynote speeches of the Honorable Minister of Agriculture, Senator Abubakar Kyari, the Honorable Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Mr. Dele Alake, and the Chairman, Air Peace, Barrister Allen Onyema.
Join us in the next episode of Global Light, plus our segments in light of global issues.